here at the top. And then this will take us into the Squarespace editor where we can start customizing our website. Now I'm going to give you a quick overview of how the editor works and how to navigate through everything, which will make your life a lot easier with Squarespace. So first of all, here on the left side, we have the main menu. This way you can navigate through different options and different features on what you can change on your website. We're going to go through most of them throughout the tutorial, so I'm not going to go in depth this menu now. And then here at the bottom, this is your Squarespace account. So when you click on your account here, you can see that right now we have one Squarespace website. You can create multiple websites here just by clicking on Create Website here on this button, and then you can create another website and basically play around with different types of websites and then launch the one that you find works the best for you. To go back to the editor, we just click on Go to Website here, and this will take us back to the Squarespace editor. Then here in the center, this is where we're going to make all the changes, and here you're going to see also a preview of what your website currently looks like. So right now we just have the demo content was imported based on the template that we have chosen, but don't worry, we can change everything here. We can change the text, the images, everything. So we can also check out how the website looks like on a mobile phone, which is very important nowadays because many people actually visit pages more on a mobile phone than on a desktop computer. So to check out how the website looks like on a mobile phone, just go to the top here and click on Mobile View. Then you can see exactly how the website looks like from a mobile phone. And by default, if you have chosen a template, this is going to look very nice. So it's already optimized for mobile. But later on in the tutorial, I'm going to show you how to optimize new content or edited content that we're going to do some changes to optimize it for mobile as well. Because sometimes when we change something or we create something new on the website, we need to also look at it from a mobile view and then make sure it looks good on mobile as well, because that's not always the case. So let's go back to desktop view. And then we also have this arrow here at the top right. This is basically just going to give you a preview of the full screen website where you can also navigate through it. You can just click on different links and pages and see how the website looks like as a visitor. Then once we want to actually make some changes, what we're going to do is just click on the edit button here at the top left. And this will take us into the actual editor where we can start making some changes. Here you can just click on skip because I'm going to show you everything here in this tutorial. So now we are in the actual editor where we can see these blue lines wrapped around each of these sections. So this is basically how the website is structured. Here at the top we have the header. Here you can see edit site header. Then all the way at the bottom of the website, we have the footer. So these two sections, the header and the footer, are going to be static over all the pages. So when we go to, let's say, the About page, then we have the same header and the same footer. And here between the header and the footer, this is where the content of the website is for each page. So right now we are on the home page and we have this top section here, this section. Then we have the second section, we have some text here. Then this is the third section. Then we have the fourth section right here, and then so on. So you can have unlimited amount of sections on your website. This is the structure of how the website is built. Inside of each sections, you have so-called blocks. So here when we click on add block, we can add more things to our website. So we can just, for example, add an image. So we could just click on image here, and then this image block would be added, as you can see. So let's go back to these sections actually. If you want to change these sections, the order, for example, you can just go to the section, hover over the section you want to change, and then on the right side, you're going to see a little menu. So here we can basically duplicate the same section once again. So let's click on duplicate, and then we have this section twice. This is very cool if you are building out your website and you're going to have a lot of similar things, like let's say an image and then some text, and then you want to just duplicate it a couple of times, which will save you a lot of work, so you don't need to do everything a couple of times. If you want to remove a section, just again hover over it and then click on remove here, and then again confirm, and this will remove the section once again. You can also create favorite sections by clicking on save section, or you can also move them around. So let's say we want to move this section below this one here. We would just hover over it, then click on this move down arrow here, and then the section will be placed below this section here. Now, if you want to add a completely new section to your site, what you can do is just click on this add section button here at the bottom or at the top, depending on where you want the section to be. So let's just add it here between these two. And then you have a couple of different options. So you can either just add a blank section right here when you click on add blank section. Then we just have a white background with nothing in it. So then we can just start building it out by just clicking on add block here at the top left, maybe add some text, then maybe also add a form and whatever you want to add to this specific section. Now let's remove this one again and let's click again on add section. And then I want to show you another option, which is using templates for specific sections. So if you have a specific thing in mind you want to add to your page, let's say you want to add an about section, you click on about here, then you have pre-made sections which are already kind of designed for you. So all you need to do is then replace the placeholder content. So let's say we're going to use this template here. And then as you can see, there's a placeholder image, there's some placeholder text. So now we can just go ahead and make some changes to it. And then we already have a pre-designed section that we can use on our website. So you always have these two options: start from scratch with a blank template, or you can also use a pre-made section and then remove the placeholder content. Great, so now we understand exactly how to manage the sections on our page, which gives our website the basic structure. Now let's look at how to manage and edit the blocks inside of each section, which is the actual content. So like we've seen before, when we hover over a section, we see this button here at the top left, which says add block. By clicking on this button, we can just add anything onto the section. So for example, a button, we just click on button, and then we see we have a new button here in this section that we can then edit. So let's delete this again and just work with what we already have in this specific section. So here we have two text blocks, this one here, and then this one. We have a button block, and then we have an image block. Now, if you want to edit each of these blocks, what you can simply do is just click on it, and then here at the top, click on the pen icon. Then you can see what options you have available to change on this block. So for a text block, you don't really have a lot of design options. What you can do is just toggle on the background, make some changes here. For text block specifically, you can also just double click it, and then you have the basic formatting options that you already know. You can basically change the text size. So you have heading 1, which is the largest text, all the way down to paragraph 3, and monospace, which is the smallest option, I believe, or actually paragraph 3 is a bit smaller. So you just want to choose the right text size so it actually looks good. You can also make it bold, or you can also add links here. So I'm not going to go more in depth here because that's the basic formatting options pretty much everybody already knows. Then for the other text block, it's basically the same thing. Here it's a paragraph 2. Again, you can change this, paragraph 1, paragraph 3. This is just changing the text size. Now let's click on the button right here, click on the edit icon, and then here we have not only design options, we also have content options. So first of all, we can change the text here. So let's change this from learn more to, contact us. And this will just change the text. Then we can also change where this button is going to go to. So when people click on it, where will people end up? So right now, by default, this is going to the About section. So when we click on the gear icon here, we should be able to change it to another page. So let's just delete this here. And then we don't really have a lot of pages here on the side yet, so we only have the home page that we can choose here. But let's say we want to send them to the contact page. This would probably be /contact, and then by clicking on this button, people would get to the contact page. But what you want to do is just click here, and then you should see all the different pages you can send people to. Let's just send them to the home page for now. You can also toggle the open in a new window. This way, when people click on the button, they will get a new window where this page will open up. You can also send people to other websites by clicking on web address here. You can just type in the URL here, and then people will be sent off your website to whatever website you type in here. Then once you're done, you can just click on save here, which will save the changes. So this is for the content option. Then for the design option, specifically for a button, we have some different button designs. So this would be a primary button. You can also change it to a secondary button, which makes the text a bit larger, or a tertiary button, I guess, which makes this a bit smaller. So again, you can just play around with it a bit. This kind of messed things up a little bit, I find. Okay, so you can just play around with it a bit. Sometimes it's best to just leave everything as it is when it comes to the design, because by choosing a template, you already have a very nice design, so you don't want to mess things up, basically. And it works exactly the same with the image. You just click on it, click on the pen icon, and then you have some content options. You can replace the image. So let's click on replace here. You can either upload a file or go with browse stock images. And then you can see the free images that Squarespace has. Probably for you, you're going to choose an image that you upload from your computer. But you can use their library if you want to use some stock images. Then you can also go to the design options here and change the shape. So for example, if you want to have it round, you can just do a round shape, or you can do a very strange shape like you can see here, whatever you want. It's just playing around with it. All you need to know is just click on the block, and then you find all the editing options here at the pen icon. Now, another thing I want to look at is the placement of each of the blocks. So what I want you to do is just click on G on your keyboard, which is going to show these little rectangles here in the background of the section. This is going to determine the alignment of each block, and this is going to be where you can rearrange everything. So this is something new that Squarespace has added, which is called Fluid Engine, I believe. And this just allows you to be very flexible with where you place your blocks. So here, for example, if you want to change the location of this text, we just drag this wherever we want based on these little rectangles. So let's say we want to put it here, then it will snap back into position based on these little rectangles here in the background. And this will just make sure that everything is still aligned. So you can just bring this up also, then bring up the button like this maybe. And then the same thing with the image. You can just drag this wherever you want it to be, maybe like this. Now you can also change the blocks here or the rectangles here in the background by going to edit section here, and then you can see the row count here. So you can add some rows here at the bottom. Now we have 17. We can also add some more. I believe you can also drag this down like this, and then you also get some more space here where you can place your content. You can also change the gap. So right now we have a gap. By clicking on this button here, the gap will be removed, and then you can just place the blocks a bit closer to each other. So again, for most people, you're just gonna leave everything as it is and then just try to work with what you have here. But if you find that you can't do something or it's just not looking right, you can go into these options here and make sure that you can actually place everything where you want it to be. Now, another thing you can do here with the edit section option is go to background, and then you can change the background of this entire section. So we could, for example, add an image. Let's again go with library. Let's take this one again, just to show you what I mean here. All right, so as you can see, now the background has changed to this image that we have just chosen. Let's remove this again by clicking on the trash icon. We can also add a video, for example. If you want to have a moving background, you can add a video, or you can click on colors, and then you can see the colors here that are fitting with this theme that we have chosen. So we have this light color here, we have this dark blue color, which actually will make the text automatically to white so you can still read it. You can choose the dark one. So you can really just play around with it and see what looks the best. Now later on, I'm going to show you exactly how to also change the color theme, the entire theme of your website. And then you get different colors here as well, which will be according to this new theme that we have chosen. But this is going to be later on in the video. One quick thing I want to show you also, which I haven't mentioned yet, is the undo button here at the top left. Make sure you make use of this, because when you mess up something, you can just click on the undo button here at the top left, and then it will just revert back to the last step before you made the changes. You can also redo the same step if you want to have it again. So this is just something really handy that you probably already have figured out by yourself, but I just wanted to make sure you know that there is an undo button. Now, personally, I like to see these little rectangles here in the background so I can see the alignment of all the blocks on my page. If you don't want to see them, you can just click on or press G again on your keyboard, and then they will disappear again. You can just click on G again, and then they will reappear. So now you know exactly how to manage your sections, how to edit everything inside of your sections, the blocks. So that's most of what you need to know to actually build out your entire website. That's the cool thing about Squarespace. It's very easy to just customize everything without any knowledge, any coding knowledge. You can just drag and drop everything, click on the blocks, change it however you want it to be. So very easy. Now, the next thing I want to look at is how to change the header and the footer of your website. Like I said before, the header and the footer is what will be static on every page on your website. So when you go to another page, the header and the footer will be the same, so people can actually navigate through your website. So with Squarespace, very easy, just click on Edit Site Header, and then here on the right side, there will be a menu. So for example, we can click on Site Title and Logo. It says Demo Site. This is where the logo will go. So we can just click on Add Logo here, Upload File, and then let's choose this file here. Then this will be uploaded. And then as you can see, now we have my logo here at the top. We can also change the size. So let's make this a bit smaller like this. So this is how you change the logo on the header. You can also go to Elements here, and then you can change all the elements you can see here at the top right. So if you want to have the button, you can just leave this on and then change it, let's say from Take Action to Start Now. It will change the text here. You can also turn off the button if you don't want it. You can turn off the social links here, or you can turn it on and then change the links here. Make sure you change it to your actual social pages, obviously. Change the size of the icons. Very easy and straightforward. Then under style, we have some different header styles. So currently we have the dynamic style. We can also change it to a solid header. As you can see, we have now a white background or a gradient, which looks like this. And then we can also go to this option here, fixed position. I believe by default it's turned off. If you turn this on and then it's under header style basic, then this header will always be visible when people scroll down on your website. So let's show you what I mean. Let's go to Done, Save. And then when we scroll down here, as you can see, the header will always be visible. So if you want that, you can keep it like this. Personally, I don't really like this. So I'm gonna go back here, Edit Site Header, and turn off the fixed position. And then I go back to style and just change it back to dynamic. I think the default version actually looks the best here. But you can play around with it. And if you wanna see how it looks, you can just always go to Done, Save, and then click on the arrow here at the top right, which will go into preview mode, and then you can see exactly how the style looks like. To go back, again, go to the top right, click on the arrow, and then again go to Edit here, which will take you back to the edit mode, Edit Site Header, and then here you can make some more changes. So that was it for the header. Now let's scroll all the way down and go to the footer area. Now this is a bit different because the footer kind of works the same like a regular section. When we click on Edit Footer, we just activate this section here. So as you can see here, we just have a couple of text blocks. So this is a text block right here. We can just click on the block and then make the changes. So we can just double click here, change the text to whatever we want. And this also is just text with some links. So here, if you want to change the links here, you can just change the text. And then to make this a link, just double click it so it's highlighted. And then with this link button here, we can just change the link to whatever we want it to be. Click on the gear icon, then go to page, and then send them to any page that we want. You can also add logos here. So let's click on add block, image, and then let's click on the plus sign, upload file. Let's add my logo here, open. And now we have the logo. We can basically place this here in the center. And now we have the logo in the footer. So the same way like you customize your sections, you can customize your footer as well. Now the next thing I want to look at is how to customize the pages on your website. So let's click on done and save here at the top left. And then this will take us back to the overview editor here, where we can see the left side menu. So here we want to click on pages at the top, and this will open up the pages menu. So as you can see here, these are the main navigation pages that we currently have on the page. So we have the About page, the Initiatives page, and the Contact Us page, which is also visible here at the top menu. This here is the main navigation menu. And then we have a couple of pages which are not linked, which is the home page. People can just click on the logo to get back to the home page, and the Take Action page, which is not visible here at the top menu. Now, when we want to add a new page, all we got to do is just click on the plus icon here, and then decide on what kind of page we want to add. So we can just click on the blank page option, which will just add a new blank page. So let's say this page, we're going to name our team, enter, and then it will directly take us to the new page, which is empty because we have chosen a blank page. When we click on the edit button here, we can now start adding content. So first we have to add a section. This is the same thing we've already seen. We can add a blank section, or we can add a pre-made section. So for our team page, we're probably going to use maybe this template here, and then we have this on the page. To change this, again, we just click on edit section here, edit content, and then we can change the images. We can change the text, whatever you want to change here. So let's click on done and save. And now we have the Our Team page. And because you have added it directly into the main navigation, it's already visible here at the top on our main navigation menu. If you want it to be here at the end of this menu, what we got to do is just take this and just drag this here to the end, and then it will be here at the end. So very easy, very straightforward. Now, if you don't want the Our Team page to be in the main navigation menu, you can just take it and then drag it down to the Not Linked menu here, which will make this page disappear here at the top, and it will be here under Not Linked. Now let's just drag this up again to just put it back in the menu. What we can also do is disable pages. So when we click on the gear icon here, we can we can just toggle the enable page off, and this will disable the page. This makes sense if you're still working on a page and you don't want people to see it yet. You can just disable the page, click on save here, and then people will not be able to see it. As you can see, they will not be able to access it. So the difference here is that if you have the page enabled and it will be here under the not linked option, people can still go to that page. Maybe you have a button that leads to this page, but if you have it disabled, then there's no way people can actually access this page. Great, so now you know exactly how to add, remove, and edit new pages on your website. Now let's go into the design option. So let's click on design here on the top left, and then let's click on site styles. This is where we can make some overall changes to the design of our website. So the first change we can make is the fonts. Here on the right side, we can just click on fonts, and then we have some different font packages. So there's going to be a default package already installed. This is what you can see here. If you want to change this, what you can do is just click on this package here and then try out different fonts. So let's say maybe we try this one here, and just by clicking on it, all the text will change on your website. So with one click, you can already see how the design looks like on your page. So we can just click on this one now, and then we can see it kind of looks weird. So maybe we choose this one here. Very easy, very straightforward to just try out different fonts on your website. So let's say we like this, so we can go back. You can also do individual changes to each of the different text styles. So you can use a different font for the headings here, for the paragraphs, for the buttons, and for other text as well. I would not recommend to go in there and just choose random fonts for all different kinds of text styles, because this will make your site look very unprofessional very quickly. So I would just stick to these packages here because they've already made to make it look good. They're made by designers, by Squarespace. So just stick with those packages. Then we go back here and let's go to colors as well. So right now, this is the color palette that we have for our website. You want to have a color palette where you have colors that complement each other, that work well with each other. But if you don't like this one, you can just click on the palette here, and then you can just choose different palettes. So I would just, again, stick with the presets. You don't want to go in there and make too many changes and then it just looks very bad. So you can just click on a couple of different ones and see what might look good as well. So here we have this kind of, I don't know, rust color, or you can make this blue. So again, just play around with it, find the one that looks the best for you. Again, you can make changes to each color for each element, but again, this would be a lot of work, and it's you have to be a designer to really make it look good, in my opinion. So that's it for colors. Then we also have animations. This is something that's very cool. So let's click on animation, and this will basically determine on how it looks like when people load a page. So currently we don't have any effect. So when you click on fade, for example, then the content will fade in like this. And then you have also other options like the scale option. Then as you can see, the content will kind of scale in like this. You have the slide options. It will slide in from the bottom, or clip. Yeah, it will just be like this. I really like the scale option and the slide option personally. So I'm going to go with, let's say, the slide option. So you can also change the speed here, slow, medium, fast. I'm going to stick with medium. And to see how this actually looks, let's go close this here. Let's go save on the top left. And then let's go to the preview button here. And then let's maybe go to the about page. As you can see, when we reload the page, then the elements will kind of fade in like this. So I think that's very cool. So I like to use it. But that's up to you. So this is really personal preference. Let's go back to design, site styles, animations. So yeah, it's up to you what you want to do. Then we have the spacing. I wouldn't really mess with this. So here you can just change the spacing of the different blocks. If you mess it up, just click on reset styles to default, reset, and then it will just reset to default. Like I said, don't mess with this. It's already pretty good by default. Then we have buttons as well. You can basically change the button styles. Again, I don't mess with this, so yeah, let's just leave it as it is. Then you have image blocks here. Here you also have some customized options you can do with your images. Again, I usually just leave it as it is. All right, so let's click on done and save. And that was it for the site style. So this is how you can change the overall style of your entire website. Now, one thing I've mentioned in the beginning of the video, but we haven't really looked at yet, is mobile optimization. So what I've done really quickly is just created a quick section here with a heading, a paragraph, and a button, and then an image here. And now we want to make sure that it also looks good on mobile, because most people nowadays browse the internet on their mobile phone. So let's click on the mobile view here at the top and see how this section looks like. So it doesn't look that bad actually. The thing about Squarespace is it arranges the elements here on mobile based on what you have added first here. Because I first added a heading, then I've added the image, then I've added the paragraph, and then the button. And that's how you can see it here, heading, image, paragraph, button. Sometimes that's not what you want. So what you can do here on mobile is just rearrange everything so it's exactly like you want it to be. So maybe you want to have the paragraph just below the heading, and then you want to have the image, and then you want to have the button. Or maybe you want to have the button here just below the paragraph and then the image here. So the cool thing here is that whatever we change here on mobile is not going to affect our desktop version. So you can just drag things around however you want to. You can change the size however you want to. You can maybe drag this all the way to the border to make it look very nice as well. Maybe make this a bit larger here on mobile. And then when we go back to desktop, nothing has changed. So this is very cool, and that's the thing you need to do whenever you create something new here on Squarespace. You need to go to the mobile view and make sure it looks exactly how you want it to look. Now, one thing I want to keep in mind is that when you click on the heading, for example, or let's say the paragraph, and you want it to be centered, aligned in the center, you could click on this icon here, then you click on the center text, and then it will be centered on mobile, but when you go back to desktop, it will be centered also. And that's the kind of the thing that's not so, I don't really like here in Squarespace, but that's just something to keep in mind. So we need to actually make this left aligned, otherwise it will just look very bad on desktop. So this is a bit of a limitation here, but just keep this in mind. But you can drag this around or just resize everything on mobile, and it will just be on mobile and not on desktop.